Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. I'm here with Shawn Tiberio. Shawn, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, especially
Well,
being back right up against the holiday here, but thanks.
well, it is my pleasure. So we're gonna hop right in. So Shawn owns a company called REI Toolbox, which I have used in the past, and I am a big fan because they do some really ninja marketing stuff. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking about A, how do I generate consumer direct leads for my mortgage business? Or B, how do I generate consumer direct leads that I can give to my real estate partners or knowledge and information that I can give to my real estate referral partners in order to help build those relationships? You are in the right place for this episode. So, Shawn, I'm really looking forward to diving in on this stuff with you.
I'm excited as well.
All right. So, I want to go out with a bang. You taught me something that blew my mind when I learned about it, and it has to do with direct mail and your website and making sure that everybody that comes to your website has an absolutely wow experience so that you win that business. Can you walk us through that strategy?
I absolutely can, and I bet some people are probably, trying to clean out their ears right now and go, "Did Chris just say direct mail and website?" I mean, we're talking what traditionally is two totally different marketing approaches, right? Colliding these two together. So, and the wow experience, I think, Chris, you got brought to the attention of this because somebody in a group that we belong to was completely blown away that it even happened, which is where the whole attention came from. So what it boils down to, and first I'm going to kind of throw the disclaimer out there. We did not curate this, proprietary technology. This is not anything that we did. We just happened to stumble on it and realized, holy crap, when you use this the right way, especially in the real estate world, it can really have a massive impact. And it quite simply is this: we all know retargeting traffic.
Yep.
Right? Website visitor comes, the bulk of the time, the first time they see your website, land on your website, whatever the case is, they probably aren't ready to take an action. Maybe they forgot to take an action, squirrel moment, whatever the case, right? They hit, they leave. Marketing wise, we've all known chase them digitally, retarget them on Google ads, retarget them on social media, these type of things, and try to chase them down. And that works. But when I realized that we can actually do the exact same thing and chase them to their mailbox, that's where the door really got open. So the concept is this: no different than any other retargeting. Website visitor comes and hits your website. Right now, I can go even deeper if you want me to, Chris, but I'll kind of give the general gist of it. Website visitor hits website. Website visitor does not get to whatever you claim is your conversion page, right? Maybe it's an appointment being booked. Maybe it's a form being opted into and a thank you page that they hit, whatever the case. They don't hit that. There's a code that we can put on the back end of a website that's sitting there searching and playing and watching them. And it has nothing to do with their IP address. It has everything to do with all these other accounts that somebody might have. So they could be sitting at the local Starbucks, visit your website. This little thing is going to pick them up. It's got about a 70% chance that it's going to find their physical home mailing address. That's the piece right there, right?
Yep.
Physical home mailing address. And this is all first class mail. So if that code picks up website visitors there before 3 p.m. Pacific time, that postcard that has been designed, curated, put together for you, for your brand, right? We do this for our clients, is going to fire off first class mail. And this, I'm talking 6x9-inch postcard, the biggest size that we can get for a first class mailing. It's going to fire off, which means within about 2 to 3 days, typically, depending where they're at from, the location that it's being mailed out of, your postcard's ending up in their mailbox. And the wow factor, right? The individual that was in our group, she happened to be on our website looking at our stuff, trying to get some ideas for, she does deck building contractors and that kind of stuff. And a couple of days later, she got one of my postcards. She's like, "Okay, guys, how in the heck did you just do this?" But I say that in a funny manner because our clients are seeing the exact same results. They're getting phone calls. They're getting return to sites, right? We use a lot of QR codes, drive them back there. But that's the response that they're getting from their potential opportunities is, "Hey, I don't know how this happened, but I was literally on your website and then you decided to mail me." Right? The end user doesn't know that it was triggered off that website view, but brand awareness, it's top of mind 2 to 3 days. They haven't quite forgotten, or it's like that deja vu. Man, this looks really familiar. I was just, I think, looking at this company. and it's intriguing them enough to make them want to reach back out, come back to the site, something like that. So that's the high level of it.
And so we know that everybody wants a house, nobody wants a mortgage, right? And we know that the mortgage research sales cycle is normally a 4 to 6 week process.
Mhm.
And so somebody is online and they're looking at Quicken, they're looking at all these online rate sites, but they're also getting referrals. They're getting referrals from friends and family, they're getting referrals from coworkers, they're getting referrals from your realtors, other realtors, and they're going to Google. So we've got many clients ranked on the front page of Google, all kinds of different pathways where people are going to come check out your website. For our people we're making calls out to their database and their referral partners, those people are getting the text messages and getting the emails. And where are they going? They're going to your website to check you out. So imagine being able to drop a postcard that shows up 4 to 5 days later with all of the testimonials of your happy customers and an invitation to a free financial analysis to make sure that they're getting the right product. This is absolutely a game changer. And then being able to teach your realtors how to do it too is just unbelievable.
Absolutely. And to take what you just said, a step deeper, it can all be tracked, because what our clients can do, right? They can send us a list of, hey, Shawn, here's all the deals that I've done this month. Here's all the listings that I've gotten, or here for our investors. Here's all the properties that we've put under contract. They can send that. We can then upload that into the software and do a direct correlation and go, okay, Chris was one of the names on your list. During the time period that we're looking at, Chris actually visited. Chris got a website generated postcard, and now you have Chris as a client, so you can actually tie back and know that it's helped in that sales cycle.
That is absolutely incredible. So, all right. So that's strategy number one. Now let's dive into REI Toolbox, because I know Toolbox. Sorry, excuse me. I'm so excited. I'm talking quick. I know that you guys work with a lot of investor-based clients. So people that are looking to find not distressed property sales, but people that are motivated sellers and looking to sell their homes. And that is another, what I feel, a massive opportunity for the mortgage business, because if you can source that deal, yes, you're going to get the financing on that deal, but those are incredible opportunities to either introduce your realtor to, or introduce your network to, or maybe you've got clients that are invested or investing in properties that are with you. There's incredible opportunities in cross-pollination there. So can you talk about how do you, with your clients that are looking to buy those properties, how do you identify the properties? How do you reach out to them? What does that marketing campaign look like?
It's a great question, and it's a very interesting one, because in the real estate investing space, right, which is slightly different than just being a retail broker, right? Listing agent, buying agent, that kind of stuff. That one's kind of simple. Hey, I list houses, or hey, I represent people in buying them. But when it comes to our investor side, they're so well versed in being able to go after multiple different scenarios, right? Foreclosures,
Yep.
Helping stop that foreclosure, or helping get some kind of a mod done. Sometimes even stepping in the place of the current homeowner and taking over that mortgage, right? Getting into some of the creative finance side, all the way down to the person that's experiencing probate, right? I'm here, I'm a young guy, I've got elderly family members, and they live in Ohio and I live here in California. And if one of them were to pass away and I had to deal with that, I may or may not want to deal with that property, right? Or know how to even deal with that. And that's where a lot of our investors also kind of step in. We've got some clients doing from a senior transition side. So to go to the marketing campaign side of that, the first thing that we want to nail down is no different than, Chris, you're niche down. You focus a lot on the mortgage side of the house, right? Running marketing campaigns for lenders and these type of sources. We're more on the real estate investor, real estate agent side. We encourage the exact same thing from our clients, to get granular with their marketing. And I could see it being true even for maybe your clients. Get niched into that industry, right? There's so many outlets in the real estate space. Doesn't mean that you can't do them, but get granular and get niched, because that's how we're going to get the best result out of it. Now, the tactics that we use, it's no different than, a lot of other agencies out there. Obviously, well-designed websites, highly convertible type websites, right? SEO services, PPC services, this type of stuff. But it starts with, we got to know who the audience is. And then we really spend a lot of time finding out what's the price points. What are
Hmm.
the price points that they want to play in? Because some markets are very vast. Give you a quick example. Got a client in Houston, and I was just there for their wedding. And I was driving around with them, and he was pointing out neighborhoods. This neighborhood's, $800,000, but literally a mile down the street, this neighborhood over here, maybe $400,000. Well, so understanding what the price point that they want to play in, these type of things, really help us start to nail down that that marketing campaign. Probably a lot like your lenders. They got multiple products. Maybe there's certain products they really want to, build their book of business around, but doesn't mean they can't dabble in some of these or use some of these other products. Just might not be their specialty, the excitement, whatever the case.
Yep, absolutely. So that makes total sense. So when you're working with your real estate investors, because this is a niche that I absolutely love. So my dad owns a mortgage company. I'm a partner in that company, and we did a lot of seconds, a lot of privates, but we also helped a lot of investors that just needed, that short-term financing, 6 months, a
Mhm.
year, just to kind of do the fix and flip and that sort of thing. So do you find that a lot of your real estate investors are looking for, do they have really good relationships with mortgage lenders? Is that a helpful relationship for them?
It's a huge help for them to have it. And I can literally draw a line right now and say the ones that are really successful have those relationships. The ones that are struggling are the ones that do not
Yep.
have it. Because I could probably name about 5 or 6 different clients right now that come top of mind that are doing anywhere from about 35 to 55 properties a year. And
Yep.
a lot of these are, especially you guys have probably heard the BRRRR strategy, right? Buy, renovate, rent, season it, refinance it. And when they've got a really solid relationship, and it's like clockwork, they can just build a portfolio and keep moving it through the process and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Everybody's eating, everybody's happy.
Yep. And so I just want to call out that number. This is work beautifully. So imagine 55 deals a year where there's a buy transaction and there's a refinance transaction
Mhm.
in the same transaction. So that leads us to the question of a loan officer that's listening to this. What's the best way to find groups of investors that are doing real estate investing? What's the best way to approach them? How do you become known in that space? How do you open those relationships? How would you go about that if you were looking to break into the space as a mortgage professional looking to provide financing to those people?
Well, if I can be a little selfish here for a second,
Please
reach
do.
out to me because I've got clients that I would highly recommend. And I say that in a fun way because I'd be willing to put my stamp of approval. Like,
Yeah.
I know that this person is legitimate, they're serious, they're not going to waste your time, that kind of thing, right? So that would be the first thing, is really find groups or communities that have, and there's a ton out there. Beware of some of the Facebook groups and these things that do exist. A lot of them are the entry level investor just trying to get started. I'm not saying don't build a relationship there, but if you really want to start doing business today, you need to find the more seasoned ones.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'd also go and look in your local community. Most local markets have real estate investor associations of some sort, whether it's a formal one or more of just a meetup, right? So REIAs, real estate investor associations, are really good to look at. Get involved in them, attend those meetings. Give you an example, the one here in LA, they run a meeting a month. It's 100% free to attend. There's probably anywhere from 85 to 110 real estate specialists that show up to that meeting every single month.
Wow.
We go as a vendor, and
Yep.
I pay an annual fee to be a vendor there, but we go and we set up our booth and we hang out and talk. And there's a couple other, individuals in that room that are there from a vendor standpoint, but you've got a captive audience at that point. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but where I would say to start to build that relationship, I'm going to go back to that more experienced investor, right?
Yep.
A couple key questions that I hated being asked when I got started investing in real estate, but I understand why they're so important. Ask them just straight up, how many deals have you done in the last 12 months?
Yep.
What's your business model look like? What type of funding are you looking for, right? Really find out what it is that they need, because I guarantee your audience that's listening to this, you've got a solution for them. It's just a matter of understanding where it's at. And I go back to that, you brought it up again, that number 55, right? Imagine you build that one relationship with a client like that. That's why I say everybody's eating, because
Oh yeah.
you've got a solid book at that point. They're happy, you're happy, money's moving around, everybody's doing business on it. But dive in, find those local groups, find those local communities. But that selfish plug, absolutely. If you want to reach out, I can give you lists of investors and real estate folks that are looking for funds that are ready to do business right now.
That is amazing. And I will do you a favor on that. This podcast has grown phenomenally in the last couple of months. So if you're interested in a relationship, feel free to reach out to me. Shawn, I'll make sure that you don't get absolutely blown up. And I'll make sure that you're just making those quality connections with the people that can really drive that bus forward for you.
Appreciate it.
Now, and I will tell just a quick aside. So, I met with the largest mortgage brokerage in Canada, and we're helping them with their marketing. And their strategy is 100% real estate investors. That is where they get the majority of the deals. They do a lot of just like traditional financing, and they're well ranked on Google and all the ratings and reviews. But the bread and butter and how they built their business was there's the REIN network, the Real Estate Investment Network. And what they did was they were a sponsored vendor, and they would go and speak at all the REIN conferences. So they had like 3 mortgage brokers that they had on staff to be able to handle all of the events that they had all over the place. And they would go and do their little 45-minute thing, like here's how to run your finances on your investment properties. And they would generate their leads from those sessions. So what you've just given away here today is just phenomenally valuable. It works. Absolutely.
100%. We love it. I'm involved in those groups for that same reason.
So being in the real estate investment space yourself, when the loan officers are speaking to the real estate investors, what are some of the topics that you hold the most value for? As in, if they're trying to help a real estate investor grow their business, what are the marketing strategies that you're seeing work best in the marketplace that are really generating results for real estate investors?
About as far as that's generating the results for like our clients actually getting the motivated leads?
Correct.
Digital has been just exploding through the roof. And we joke a lot with our clients. The pandemic kind of sped this up.
Yeah.
We didn't see the digital side in the real estate world as much when you look back at like 2017, 18, 19. Why? Because everybody thought that, their first thought when they want to look for a restaurant, go online. I need another, home services, go online. I need to sell my house. They only knew one way, and that was call the real estate agent or, get recommended to a real estate agent. When the pandemic hit and it really shut things down and agents couldn't hold those open houses, they had to get creative with it. It forced the homeowner to start realizing they also need to go online to find those people because, right, nothing was happening. And through those searches, they start stumbling on the same, using those same phrases. They're stumbling on clients that are like us, that are more from that investment side, help you with the quick cash, these kind of things. So through that, we've seen it just explode. So we heavily focus the SEO, PPC. Personally, I'm starting to really pay more attention to and shift some of our clients looking at even on the YouTube side of things. YouTube ads, because again, what did the pandemic create? It created people being at home and sitting around. They got bored with cable television. They got bored with some of the other platforms. Suddenly YouTube becomes more, popular. We know that's not going away. And we're already seeing in some of the tests that, YouTube in-stream ads, these type of things are phenomenal on it. It's not to discount though, the traditional ways of finding opportunities, direct mail, the cold outreach, but doing it in a different way, right? Not just blasting people with, hey, I want to take your house.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I'm always done from an acts of service perspective. It was funny. So I was actually speaking to a gentleman, a friend of mine who's in one of our mastermind networks, and he's in the States, and he's a very, very successful entrepreneur, but has like 3 businesses on the go at any given time, all very successful. And one of the things that he does in his spare time is he does real estate investing. And
Mhm.
so he's got a kid that goes down to the courthouse, I think it is, and every Monday and every Friday, what happens is he has that kid pull from the registry all of the people who have defaulted on their water bill,
Mhm.
and they take that list and then they have calls. Part of the reason he was talking to me was he was wondering about our concierge service. Like, hey, can you make these calls? If I give you my script, can you make calls to these lists? And can I get, right now I got one guy going to one courthouse. Can I get 10 kids going to 10 courthouses and you call all of the leads and then book the appointments for us? And so again, just an interesting talking point for you if you're going out and you're connecting with these real estate investors, just another way that you can open up a conversation and provide some value there.
Absolutely.
So, Shawn, thank you for being so generous with your time. I mean, you just incredible value. I always look for like 3 golden nuggets in every episode, and we are so far past that here. So, I know people are going to want to reach out. I know people are going to want to follow you. So, what's the best way for people to find out about you? What are your social handles? How do people get a hold of you?
So I'm on pretty much every social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. All of it's just at Shawn Tiberio. So just at
Perfect.
my first and last name, easiest way to get in touch with me. Or you can go to REI Toolbox, and I'm pretty much the one that monitors all that stuff. So multiple ways to get in touch with me.
That is amazing. Well, again, Shawn, thank you so much for being on the show. We truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Chris.
Awesome. And to all of our listeners, the best way to say thank you is to head on over to iTunes, hit us with a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. That helps us tremendously. And if you're watching this episode on social media, go ahead, smash that like button and leave a comment below with what your top takeaway was on this episode. Make sure you follow our channel for when we release our next episode. And I am very much looking forward to seeing you there.